channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Today's video, guys, I'm going to be taking you guys through my favourite books of 2023. Out of all the books that I read during this year, by the time you're watching this, I've only read 31 books. However, I believe that by the end of the year, I will have definitely achieved at least reading 32. Out of the 8 books, these are the ones that all became either 4.5 or 5 stars. I'm not saying that not all of my books, like I did have more books with this rating. However, these are the books that I have non-stopped thought about throughout the entire year. So I just thought I'd take you guys through my favourites in case you are looking for inspiration for your 2024 TBR, or books that you absolutely need to read this year or in the upcoming year. These are the books that just hit it off for me. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn on the little post notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And with that said, let's just jump straight into the video. I'm gonna leave my absolute #1 favourite books till the end of the video. Tom Felton, Beyond the Wand. This autobiography was incredible. I didn't think that I could love an autobiography as much as I loved this one. Tom Felton, if you guys didn't know, played Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. Felton basically takes us through his whole life leading up until now, basically, and sort of all the kind of trials and tribulations that he incurred throughout his career, basically, and obviously being one of the most famous child actors of his time. And he also talks about some really hard points in his life that were just, I honestly had no idea. When you look at Tom Felton, you think, you know, he's got everything, he had an incredible career growing up, but this book quite literally had me in tears. It also had me rolling around laughing on the floor. I think I expressed every single emotion throughout reading this book. It was amazing. His writing was excellent as well. I just think I never really rate autobiographies because obviously it's about somebody's life and you can't really judge someone's life. But the way that it was written was incredible. I've always really liked Tom Felton anyway. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Tom Felton has always been definitely up there with one of my favourite actors, especially within the Harry Potter movies. But he just has, his writing was just incredible. Like, I urge you, if you are umming and ahhing about reading this, please pick it up. It is incredible. I did rate this 5 stars. Usually I don't rate autobiographies because I don't think it's fair. However, I did because it was just amazing. So 100% 5 stars for me. Next up, I read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This was easy 5 stars for me. I loved every single second of this book. I want to go back into this world. I did also read Legendary, which is the second book in this series. If you are unaware about Caraval, it's basically it's a fantasy. Once a year, there is a game called Caraval, which basically happens on this island. We follow Scarlett and Donatella, who are sisters. They keep writing to the master legend, who basically is the one that hosts Caraval. There's like a subplot of romance in this as well, which is really, really cool. This book was so creative and so fun that I just loved it so much. I know a lot of people have said quite mixed reviews about this book, but I genuinely really loved it. I actually preferred this over the second book. Second book, truthfully, actually put me in a huge book slump when I finished it, and I've not actually returned back to that world, but I really, really want to get back into it. Next up, we have 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson. I love the Truly Devious series. It is truly one of my favourite series of all time. Basically, Truly Devious is a trilogy, and then you have The Box in the Woods, which is a standalone, but it follows the same characters on their summer break. And then 9 Liars is following, once again, the same characters, but they're in London this time. And basically, we follow our protagonist, who is Stevie Bell, and her talent as such is to solve crimes from the past, hence why she got accepted into Ellingham Academy, which is where the first 3 books are set. Ellingham Academy is like this really intellectual academy and people get accepted based on their certain talents, and for Stevie Bell that is solving the crime that is the Ellingham murder basically, and what happened to the owner of Ellingham Academy, and she solves it. And then in the Box of the Woods, that's like a story that happened kind of at that summer camp that she goes to. And in this one, 9 friends went to Cambridge University and a murder happened, and basically Stevie solves it, which is really interesting. There's also a huge subplot of romance throughout the whole series, which is really, really fun. So it's definitely worth, you definitely have to read the like books in order to like understand the kind of character development in it, but it is so good. It's once again like a YA murder mystery, so it's super fast paced, super gripping. I loved every minute of it. Any book Maureen Johnson brings out, I'll most likely read it. I think we're getting a 6th book, which I am very excited about. I can assure you that will be #1 on my buying list whenever I get around to buying it. Next up is Lovely War by Julie Berry. Now this book is so different to the books that I normally read. We follow 4 different protagonists. I have spoken about this book before, I believe. I think in my July and August reading wrap up I talked about this, so I won't talk about it in much detail in this video. However, this was a 100% a 5-star read for me. I went to have happy on it. I just could not get enough of this book. It is the most warming love stories you will follow. Basically, it's set in the First World War, but told through the perspective of Aphrodite and like Greek gods, which is really, really a super interesting concept, and I loved it. I don't know if any of the other books that Julie Berry has written is also told from this perspective, but I loved it. I really, really loved it, and it's a beautifully written war story. Obviously it's fictional, but it just follows the main 4 protagonists who are incredible, incredible characters. I loved them all. I wish there was actually like a series to this, because I would want to read more about these characters. Every emotion once again was kind of played into this book with me. I cried, I laughed, I was angry, like I just loved this book with my whole heart. Next up we have got If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I loved this book. This book was amazing. I spoke about this in my autumn TBR. This was the only book that I read that was on that list. I loved it. I really, really, really loved it. We follow Oliver, who is kind of like, there's a past and present timeline. He's just been released from prison after 10 years being incarcerated, and he comes out and he's talking to this detective who basically arrested him for a crime that he didn't commit. And you basically follow the whole story of the like up until the lead up of him being arrested and going to prison. It follows all these characters who go to Delitra Academy, I think it's called, which is a Shakespearean academy where they basically just perform Shakespeare. So it's very like dramatic in that sense. It is a dark academia. It's a dark academia and a literary thriller kind of combined all together. And the only thing I will say in this book is that there is a lot of Shakespeare references. So if you, like myself, I don't really like Shakespeare. I've never really gotten on with Shakespeare. I don't think many people do, to be honest. But that doesn't stop you from understanding the story. I think a lot of people have said that they've been scared to read it because of the Shakespeare references. It doesn't affect it that much. So overall, this was an incredible read. I did cry at the end, but it was amazing. There is subplot of romance as well in it, which is really just, oh, this book just had everything. These are the type of books that I love. Like, I love a mystery, like a romance in it. I need every single emotion possible when I'm reading this book. That's kind of what makes it a 5-star for me, because they were good. On to my favourite books of 2023. I don't think it will come to a surprise to anyone that Magnolia Parks is my all-time favourite series ever. I have absolutely devoured this series. I'm currently reading the 3rd book in the series, the 2nd Magnolia book. I am 400 and 9 pages in, so I have a little over 100 pages left to read for this book. I love it so much. This is the, as I said, the 3rd book in the series technically. Over the summer I read the first 2 books, which is Magnolia and Daisy. So if you have been living under a rock, basically we follow Magnolia Parks is the first book, and we follow Magnolia Parks, who is a London socialite, and she is like uber rich, okay? Like, she wears all the designer clothes, she's going out to eat at the most expensive restaurants and everything, and she has her love interest, who is BJ Valentine. They have been on and off more than a light switch. They have also been in love with each other for the last, like, since they were like 14 years old. So there's a lot of history with their relationship, and this series is not to be mistaken for a happy series. This book, well, this series as a whole, is the most toxic series you will ever read in your life. This book has me screaming, it has me crying, it has me laughing. The way that I have been sucked into this universe is absolutely crazy. I have no idea what Jessa Hastings does to these books, but they are an addiction. We end the book on a cliffhanger, and then we follow Daisy Haites, who is another character within this series, which she's briefly mentioned in the first book, but then we follow more of her story in here, and the first 2 books basically follow the same timeline, just through the different character perspectives, and then the next 2 books, The Long Way Home and Daisy Haites' Great Undoing, also follow the same timeline. However, The Long Way Home is taken from a year later from when these books happened, basically. Daisy Haites was another book. I just loved it. I loved both of them so much. These were both like 10 stars if I could rate them. I love these books. I think about them daily, and when I tell you a reread will be happening with these books, a reread will be happening, because I don't think I can live more than like a month without reading these books. I just can't express how much I loved these books so much. Like, it was, I'm not sitting here and I'm not gonna sit here and say you have to read them, because they come with a lot of extra baggage, which probably doesn't need to happen, does. And as I said, I'm currently reading The Long Way Home, and I have pretty much devoured this whole book in the space of like a few days. I've only got this much left to read, and this is like an over 500 page book, and then we've got Daisy Haites' Great Undoing, and then there is a new Magnolia, which is also unfortunately the last Magnolia Parks, coming out at the beginning of next year, which I'm excited, but I'm sad at the same time, because I want them to have a happy ending, but I don't know if they will or not. So, but then when they all sit together, they're so pretty. And then obviously there is a green one here, but that's on my shelf at the moment because I've not read it. They're a drama, they're a romance, they are a closed door romance. So if you don't really like a lot of spice, then these are definitely like a good book to pick up. And also, can we appreciate the covers? Like, I think this one's my favourite. And then we've got this one. So those are my favourite books of 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got some inspiration. If you have read any of these books, then please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want more reading updates and stuff, then definitely go follow my Bookstagram, which is _bookswithluce. I basically upload like every day on there and on my stories and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn the little post notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And with that said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.